Real quick, before the video starts, I just want to say that this deck list is not accurate anymore. Uh, the game is very complex. I'm constantly updating and changing this deck as it is one of my favorite decks, as I mentioned in the video. And so, you know, the Curiosa link will be in the description uh, for any up-to-date versions of this deck that I create. But this is more of just a discussing some of the things I put in at the time and why they were there. But yeah, enjoy. Hello, guys. Uh, my name is Cameron. You can call me whatever you want. I would just prefer that you not call me a bitch. Uh, do you like card games? I'm sure you do. You would not have clicked on this video if you didn't. If you like card games and you like sorcery, you've come to the right place, because I built a fun fog druid to make fun of the steam druid that's currently in the meta right now. Actually, I don't even know if it's still in the meta. Savior's getting pretty popular. Anyway, so I wanted to kind of make a video capitalizing on sorcery's newly found success with Gothic, and I wanted to talk about kind of my favorite deck, my first deck I ever really built. It's gone through many iterations, as you can see down here in the deck history. This isn't even all of it. There was like 3 versions I didn't even post to Curiosa, and then upon playing Constructed at a local game store, people were very, very assertive that I should be posting my things on Curiosa. And ever since I downloaded Tabletop Simulator, which, by the way, plug, my name is Cameron on there too. It's just, I wanted to play on Tabletop Simulator. This was a way for me to do it. Yeah. So I want to talk about my Druid. Druid, tap, get Tawny, get a sight. This is not accurate. You only get Tawny on the first turn. And then you can also do the other ability, tap, get Bruin, and then flip it, which also isn't accurate. Instead, now it says nearby allied sites have, when an enemy enters, deal 1 damage to it. Which is, it weakens any potential attackers, it makes it easier to defend against. There's an argument for Earth Druid out there. Pudge Butcher, drag him through your sights, force him to take damage from the thorns. This is not that Druid. I primarily was a little nervous to build Earth. I now kind of regret not building Earth in this deck because I feel like it would honestly perform better. But that's besides the point. The point is, we're going to be talking about Fog Druid, which is air and water. I have other names for each of the other color combinations. I'll probably put those in the description just for fun. This game is fun. Don't take me. I'm not the decider of things. I'm just a weird loser guy on the internet. So these are not finalized names. These are not official names. These are just names that I kind of thought of looking at the cards. Anyway, so we'll get to Tawny. Tawny is a unique and wise little beast, airborne and spellcaster, and it can't defend. Little weak, but it's phenomenal. It's a great card. Free spellcaster, early game, nice early game tempo. And then Bruin is a 4-power, unique, large, and fluffy beast. While near your avatar, Bruin takes damage for them. He's a bear bodyguard. Pretty cool. We're going to go one at a time, and then after that, we're going to discuss some of the strategy and some of the cards that I would probably take out. So, starting with auras, we have Sylvan Splendor. You cast a beast or fairy, you draw a spell, and then if one of the affected sites is successfully attacked, you dispel it. My Druid is very defensive. They're probably not going to get through. Black Plague, probably the best area control card in the deck. At the end of the turn, weakest minion occupying affected sites dies. If tied, you get to choose. Also, one of the 5 ways I have of dealing with the subsections, like submerged and burrowing. So that kind of adds. It used to be the only way, but now it's just a great way to get rid of big bodies, because I can play it on where a big body is. Failed Mutation, the new card from Gothic that you can't be targeted or damaged by magic. This gets around that. Great card. Because it's not targeting, it's choosing. Artifacts, Aquamarine Core, blue's great, adds extra blue. Ruby Core. Ruby Core is mainly in the deck for, to add the extra red in the spell book, because I don't want to be drawing sights too much. So if I don't hit a red sight within like the first 2 or 3 turns, I really want to draw the Ruby Core. It has been helpful primarily in like the opening hands where you don't have any red. That can just help fix your mana. Next we have, actually we'll do Shrine of Dragon Lord. Mana Fixer, Threshold Fixer. This one goes to the sites. The side it's played on provides extra of each. Taurus Hammer Trinket gives whatever it's equipped to +1 power, and then it goes to the hand at the end of the turn. Great. Easily turns 4 damage into 5, easily turns 8 into 10. Plus the fact that it goes back to your hand, this thing, once you draw it, it's never going away. Also, it's just a free card to play every turn, pretty much. Wiccan Tools, phenomenal. You sack it, draw a spell, and then the bearer gets spellcasting, and it doesn't have to require Threshold. Tawny has a tendency to die pretty early, so to be able to continue to take advantage of some of the spells that you'd like to have Tawny for, Wiccan Tools helps me do that. So it's just a great, if I have nothing else to do, I just sack it, draw an extra card. Bailey, enemies can't enter here on the ground. I would run a 3rd Bailey if I had one. I only have 2. Really great to play where your Druid is. Really great to play on like a water site. If your opponent has no airborne minions or has no way of killing the Bailey, this thing is phenomenal. Also, if they run no projectiles, like against an Earth deck, the only thing that really stops a Bailey is a Crater Eyes, or a Dispel, or an Earthquake. But like a fire deck just shoots something at you. Air decks just lightning bolts you. But I mean, it's good. It's good against minions. It can help if you're on Death's Door. It can help stave off the dying for a little bit. Gossamet Helmet. If the bearer would take damage, instead return Gossamet Helmet to the hand. This goes great on Druid. This goes great on Bruin in combination with Bailey. If they manage to get through in some way, instead, bounce the Gossamet to your hand. I run 1 copy of Accursed Albatross. It's an airborne. It's 1. When a unit kills it, kill all nearby allies of that unit. Notably, it says other, so the ideal would be that you trade the Albatross with another 1 minion and have, the 2 kill each other. And then, when it dies, it'll kill everything else nearby. Because if it kills something that's bigger than it, then it's not gonna... It won't kill the thing that it attacked. But it can take out all of its allies, though. So, that's nice. 3 Lugbog Cats, self-explanatory if you play the game. If you don't play the game and you're watching this as like your intro, this is not a good intro video. Go watch my other video where I talk more in an objective sense. Anyway, can and must be cast to any water site. This can go on your enemy's water sites. If they're not playing water, it goes on your own water site. It's 3 for a 4. Great cat. Great kitty. Seat Raider. 3 for a 3/3. Or 3 for a 3, I should say. Whenever it attacks and kills an enemy, the controller of that enemy discards the top card of their deck, and you can cast it. It draws... It's a great card. A little later we'll talk about all the versions of this deck and kind of what changed over time when I get to the deck history. But for now, just know Sea Raiders is a pretty decent card. 4 Tufted Turtles. These things are awesome. They always overperform. If you take each card's value and you assign it 1, right? 1 to 1. Each thing should be able to trade with itself. This thing is 2. Because your opponent has to have at least 2 things to be able to kill it. They damage it once, get rid of that protection, and then damage it again to kill it. Gyre Hippogriffs. I run all 3. Flying. Can attack the turn that they enter. Great for mid-game. Great for late-game finishing. Just a solid attacker. Helpful Hop. When it enters, it untaps an adjacent ally. This lets you attack again. This lets you play another site. This lets you play Bruin, then get another site. I used to run 4. Um, then I realized that having 4 1/1s that do nothing isn't very good. So now I only run 2. Lake of Fonk, 4 for 3 with lethal and submerge. It protects itself with submerge, and it's got lethal. It's a great trader. A lot of people don't want to trade with this thing. Um, there's an argument to be made for running a third one. I'd keep my nice 2. Yeah. Mesh Restore Worm, the most intense threshold and probably costing card I have. Submerge, Waterbound, 6 for a 7. If it's not on water, it's disabled. So there's, you want to keep it on the water. Ideally, you'd have it in the center. Tap, choose direction, and it deals lethal damage. Another way of dealing lethal damage. Lethal is pretty good. Thundering Giant, 6 for a 4. It can attack the turn it enters, and once on my turn, I can have it teleport to a nearby location. You tap all other units there on arrival. That is the key. Tapping all the units. You can tap down blockers and go for an all-out assault. You can teleport and then attack to finish off a death's door. Teleport and attack to attack something on the back line that's being problematic, maybe. This card has so many uses. This card is always a problem when it's on the table. I run 2. For spells, 2 blinks, mainly to get my avatar out of harm's way if it's being chased down, but I can also use this to get my things behind the enemy line to finish them off. Disenchants, just removal for any problematic artifacts or enchantments. You're going to come across it. It's nice to have an answer. I run 2. Because usually what happens is they might play like a Ring of Morrigan, they beat the crap out of you with it, you break it, and then they play like a Philosopher's Stone, which is less good but still amazing. You can break that too. Or maybe they like Hamlet's Ablaze, try and break one of your sites. Instead, you break that. Anyway, Fade gives something stealth. If it's on an enemy site, draw a card. One of the other versions of this deck, which we'll talk about a little later, is like the third version of this deck was I want to play a bunch of stuff on your sites. So Fade was an all-star in that. I almost always drew a card off it. But the newer versions of this deck, honestly, just giving something stealth, having a guaranteed this thing is not going to die next turn. Don't hesitate. Even if you're not going to draw the card, giving something stealth kind of pays for itself. So, yeah. Lightning Bolt, early game removal, late game finisher. It's nice to just, I kill you and the game ends. Magic Missiles, kind of decent against Ward. Lightning Bolt, but like, not random. Having Tawny out makes this great to cast. Gives you a little bit of urgency over where the projectiles go. Power of Flight gives something flying, notably until your next turn, so you can maybe choose to not attack with that thing and keep it as an airborne blocker. Yeah, you see the Bailey only prevents ground, so you can give something, if you're on death's door and there's an airborne minion on its way, give one of your things airborne, plus it replaces itself, helps you dig for an answer. Great. Better than it looks. It's better than it looks. Riptide, movement, free movement, and a free card, replaces itself. You can use that almost like a blink sometimes. Riptide, pull it toward an enemy, then attack beyond that enemy. You can use it defensively, attack, then pull it back. Use it defensively, pull an enemy away from your sight. It's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't run all 4 anymore. I used to run all 4. 9 times out of 10 it was useless. Running 2 is enough. Blaze, probably the best removal in the deck, especially if Tawny's still alive. Gives additional movement, can't be intercepted, and then each location it leaves, it deals 2 damage. I also believe that the unit can, if it has stealth, it keeps stealth because the unit itself is not casting or dealing the damage. It's Blaze that's doing the damage, and you who's casting it. Murder of Crows, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions on the surface, and then you can cast from your cemetery. That's why I run 2. Being able to cast from your cemetery basically makes it 4. This is primarily for ward removal, but it can also be used to get rid of, 2-to-1 toughness blockers. If they have a bunch of small guys, wipe them and go ham. If they have a bunch of big guys, weaken the big guys, go ham. Vanishment. Give all allied minions stealth and draw a spell. Don't touch my board, and it replaces itself. Great card. Arc Lightning, standard removal. 4 damage, target nearby unit. Also, kind of a game ender too if you can weaken tools by the avatar. Anyway, Hellfire, deal 2 damage to everything above sights, and then destroy everything below sights. I didn't really have a lot of sub-site destruction, so like Submerge and Burrowing minions were really good against me. This is just a way to answer that, and it also wipes any of those little guys. Might kill Tawny, but 9 times out of 10, by the time you cast the spell, Tawny's dead anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Poison Nova, lethal, deal 1 damage to each nearby minion. A great card with Tawny. Especially if you can cast it on the back line. You just get behind them, kill all their stuff. It's great. It never feels good to cast it on your own stuff. I have had games where I've killed my own Bruin by doing the Poison Nova with my avatar, and I had to. There was no choice. For sites, the notable sites are probably Fields of Camelot, Board Wipe on a Stick, Mirage. It can help me rearrange my sites late game. I took out Funeral Pyres in exchange for Mirage. I felt Mirage was the better pick. This deck has no Graveyard Recursion or Graveyard Hate, so if you play against a lot of Graveyard decks, I would recommend maybe getting rid of Mirages, running Funeral Pyres instead. Graveyards are pretty common right now, with Necromancer and Archimago and Death Speaker being popular. Lookout, I have 3 of them. Probably the best. I would probably run 4 if I could. Right now, I think that the current is what I need. I might take out a Beacon and put in a 4th Lookout, just because it's nice to know. You have Tawny, you have Bruin. Once you lose those are gone. So it's nice to know what your opponent has cooking. If they have removal in their hand, you might not want to flip Bruin. You might want to try and bait the removal. If they have, turn 1, turn 2, hit a Lookout. Do you want to connect the realm? Do they have removal? Are they going to hit Tawny? Great card. I run all the duels. I run 4 pawns. I have a lot of beasts. Pretty good, pretty efficient. Pristine Paradise provides all 4. With, the Helpful Hobbs or the Druid, you're going to be able to put this in the corner pretty easily. Or, honestly, just keep it nearby and protect it. Doesn't matter. Sinkholes, again, mainly in the deck for sub-site hate. If they have submerged or burrowed, you can kill those with by destroying the site. It used to be when I had 4 Helpful Hobbs, it used to be I could go sinkhole and then pop the sinkhole, Helpful Hob, play 2 sites, fill in the sinkhole and the one I destroyed, get some aggressive placement. Doesn't really do that no more. Thin Ice, I run 2. I would run 3. Honestly underperforms, but it is a great don't touch me. It discourages people from going on certain places, going down certain routes. Thin Ice, Pristine Paradise behind it. People don't really want to travel through that. Same thing with Troll Bridge. Kind of is the same thing. I would run 3. I only have 2. People, if you play the game, you might notice I have no Coin Ixies, but I have Thin Ice. Where's my Coin Ixies? Feel free. Run your Coin Ixies. I have Coin Ixie. They're in different decks. Why isn't Thin Ice with it? It goes better in this deck. But be my guest. Pick 3 cards, remove them, put in Coin Ixies. Treetop Hideout, really great synergy with Tawny, and honestly, very on flavor. Genesis, give stealth to a nearby ally. Turn 1, turn 2, give Tawny stealth, make it so it can't die. Not can't die, but can't be targeted. And honestly, just on flavor. She's an owl. She's coming from her tree. Pretty cool. Valley of Delight, color fixing. If you play the game, you kind of know what I'm going with all this. You might notice, a lot of people have pointed out that I play against 40 sites. Why do I have 40 sites? That's... Wham! How about this? How about I do what I want? When I played Magic, I played Commander, 100-card decks, kind of a habit, kind of carried over. Having the 10 extra sites is pretty good for a 3-color deck. Really kind of ensures you have a better margin for error. When you draw your sites, you can include more of each. You can include more utility sites that you wouldn't normally be able to. You might notice that the only site that doesn't provide any threshold is the sinkholes. So, Um, if I had 30 sites, I might be less inclined. I mean, honestly, pick 10, remove them if you're really that concerned about it. But the rules say that you can have 60 spells and 30 sites at a minimum. You can have any number you'd like above that, so long as you can reasonably shuffle. And until that rule changes, I will be running 40, because when you buy Dragon Shields, or, Ultra Pro, I buy Dragon Shields. You get a 100 count, and so you get 100 sleeves. So I just, I don't run a collection in this deck. There's no reason for it. 40 sites. Don't at me. Actually, no, do at me. All engagement is good engagement. So here's the deck history. You can kind of see, added more Tug Turtles, took out Grievous Insult because it sucks. Took out the deserts. I used to run the deserts in here. Remember that? Crazy. Here's a big old list of things I added back in the old times. Saracen Scout. That was the, I think I had Saracen Raiders in here too. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on. Highly advanced. Okay, never mind. Oh, wait. Saracen. Oh, okay, I guess I didn't have it. Dang it, never mind. I'm sorry. I wasted your time. So you look at the curve. Here's the curve. This is all removal. This is all the beasts, and then red is just kind of hanging out in there for the extra stuff. You're really, honestly, even if you were to do 30 sites, there's barely any red in here. The red is just because Poison Nova and Blaze are just too good to ignore with Tawny. Like, they're just too good. You could make an argument to run more red. Maybe Pit Vipers. The pufferfish that does basically the same thing. One lethal protects itself. Do what you want, man. This is a guide. Dude, this is a guide. This is my deck tech. Here, you know what? Let's do some sample hands. I would keep this hand. You got the blue here. The double blue for the Sea Raider and the Lake of Fonk. Bog can help bottom down. I would not play that. I would probably draw. Here, what I would probably do. Turn 1 and 2. I draw a sight. Then turn 3, I probably draw a spell. That's that. And then you draw and draw and draw and draw. Maybe draw a sight in there. Then draw. And by now, Tawny probably would have died, but it doesn't matter because you have Arc Lightning and Gyre Hippogriff, so anything they play is null anyway. I would keep this, probably unwisely, but I would probably keep this. I'd probably do... Honestly, I'd probably go Beacon and then Aquamarine Core turn 1, and the next turn probably draw a sight, and maybe play Mirage, putting the Beacon back. Actually, no, I'd probably go Thin Ice, and then play Sea Raider on Thin Ice. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do. Anyway. Get out of here. Those don't go there. I would honestly probably keep this too. Red, air, or I should say fire, air. I'd probably draw a spell. Yeah, because I mean this provides half the threshold you really need for 2 red plus another red, 2 fire plus another fire, 2 air plus another air. Until I draw a water sight. Until I draw a water spell, I'm probably not drawing any sights. Yeah, I'd probably draw a sight here. Oh, and look, boom, there you go. Lake of Fonk. Yeah. Anyway, this was my deck tech. This was my attempt at capitalizing on Sorcery's newfound popularity. I'm pretty sure I said it at the beginning of the video. This is my name on Curiosa. This is the deck name. It has 27 views. This is not accurate. It has 27 views, and every time I reset, it goes up. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should set a loop where it resets and I get famous. View my deck. Make it famous. Yell at me in the comments. Tell me how bad I am at this game. Give me tips. How did you build your Druid? Did you build Druid? Comment below. If you want to play a tabletop simulator, assuming that anybody watches this and I don't, gain 10,000 million subscribers overnight, here's my tabletop name. It's the same as this. I'll put the things in the description and all that. Enjoy. Have a good day. Play Sorcery. And keep calm. Carry on.